My name's Diane Lucas and I'm one of the co-founders of Zuloomi. I'm joined here today by Thomas, my other co-founder, and Rondaline, our partner.
Hello.
So we're going to talk to you today about what Zuloomi is and how it all started and what it's going to mean for you in business. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about the journey that I did back in 2013 about where Zuloomi actually all started from. I went to a conference overseas in the US and I met with some wonderful people who talked to me about the value pricing journey, the importance of why we needed to change the way we priced our engagements and going down the whole value pricing discovery methods and things like that. And it all sounded absolutely wonderful and I really got excited about it, and I came home and did nothing. And I did nothing because I didn't know how to do anything. And so I went again the following year and I again got all excited, and this time when I came home I was determined to do something because I still didn't get the message of how to do it. So then Thomas and we talked about what we were actually going to do in regards to the how-to. And essentially we started the Zuloomi journey, although it wasn't called Zuloomi then, back in 2014. And one of the big key things, I guess, of why we started this journey was an understanding that value pricing is absolutely critical in our industry, because the revenue of our industry is drying up with cloud efficiencies, with the different accounting platforms doing things for us. Basically, the processes of doing bookkeeping are not the same as they used to be. And so we need to focus on ways of doing other things, but also at the end of the day, what we're providing is still the same outcome, but we shouldn't be penalised for doing that faster. And hence the idea of moving down the pathway of pricing for value. And the other side that's come with this natural progression of cloud software is that clients are actually understanding more about ways that they can do things. They're looking for solutions that they didn't have out there before. They're asking questions and they expect answers from people like us bookkeepers and accountants. And so not only are we becoming more efficient and our revenue is drying up, but our clients are asking for more things, they're more demanding. And again, I just wasn't getting the how-to on really how to price that, how to understand what people wanted. And so further and further we needed to then come up with a solution. And Thomas is going to talk to you about the solution.
On the back of the early frustrations Diane was referring to, we put our heads together and tried to build a solution for Diane's bookkeeping business direct management. My background's in business management, business operations, operational excellence, building and improving businesses was right up my alley to help develop together with Diane something that works for Diane's bookkeeping business. So the results that we have been able to realize with the internal value pricing solution of direct management were very encouraging. We got improvements of 20% year-on-year margin improvements. We got revenue growth significant. We were very encouraged, and there was essentially, that led to a meeting of the mind to say, if we can grow direct management, Diane's business, then we can help other bookkeepers out there as well. So Zuloomi is built with the industry in mind. Zuloomi is built with you in mind to make a better business, to make a better future, whatever that future looks like for you in this particular case. So the solution we have put together is twofold. It on one hand has an app, and I'll talk about that in a minute a bit more, but it also has an educational component to that, because we realized very early on in this game that whatever current skills you have that have brought you to this point need to be complemented with very specialized skills to move further up in your journey of skills, towards becoming more of an advisor type professional. So that's where Rondaline comes into the picture, and she's going to talk a bit more about that further down. So the solution is all about this application and the education. The application really focuses on a very specific structured process to come consistent outcome every single time we talk to prospective clients. Very important to understand that, because one of the key differences in the value pricing world is the fact that we understand a prospective client, we put together an offer, a proposal, and then we need to deliver to that. So the understanding before we actually go, what goes into that solution is very, very critical. So the app helps us, to be guided in that whole process of understanding the client, understanding the risks in this potential engagement, and pricing that then further on. Whereas the education really focuses on really the complementary skills, to be able to understand the client, look at the psychology of this client, to be obtained. And we're pretty happy, to have Rondaline as our partner here, helping us deliver that. And all that really means that we have an offer together, which allows you to get to your very first value price client in 13 weeks. We are really excited about that. We're absolutely excited about that, and the educational part of things, is really something I'd like.
So the whole educational component is really built upon this premise. You can't really give a book to someone and teach them how to swim. You've got to push them into the pool. You've got to give them the chance to actually learn the skills and do it. And that's basically what this educational program is going to do. So Diane and Thomas have put together a fantastic app, but we've got to take that one step further. We can give you all the app training and all the stuff that's out there in the world, but if we don't actually teach you how to have the conversations that you need to have with your clients to get to the heart of what it is that they value, so you can then price it, you can't do value pricing. That's the essence of what this whole thing is about. So this is the journey that we're going to be taking you on. It's a holistic journey. I don't want you to think anymore about, oh, I'm just a bookkeeper, or I'm just an accountant, so I only do this. That's not true. I long for the day where we don't have this distinction between compliance and advisory anymore. We should have always been doing a holistic practice that actually helps our clients to fix the stuff that's keeping them up at night. That's why we've got this educational component. There is no more compliance. And in fact, if all you want to do compliance, you're going to struggle to value price that. We've got to go beyond that. And going beyond that means we're going to have to start having difficult conversations with our clients about the stuff that's keeping them up at night. Could be pain points, could be feelings, could be desired transformations that they want to have. And we're going to figure out what they value and what it's worth to them. We're going to get leverage on people. And once we know that, and once we have those components, then guess what? It's going to be a hell of a lot easier to back ourselves into a price that approximates the maximum amount that they want to pay to get the fix, the solution, the number one thing to that pain point or that desired transformation. Value pricing really at its essence, and I like to call it pricing value, because I'm all about value. I'm not about the semantics of how do we get, 3 packages and how do we do this and how do we do. If you spend 90% of your time focusing on value, believe me, you can't go wrong. And so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to outline with you a very simple 6-step process that I created with my book, Pricing Value. It's going to take you through the different 6-step process. I'm going to teach you stuff like, how do you control your own fear? That's a good one. How do you comprehend value? How do you create value? Most importantly, how do you bloody capture value, right? Because if you don't capture a significant portion of the value that you created for your clients, well, guess what? This whole thing is useless. Because at the end of the day, it's about creating value, delivering that value, capturing it, communicating it, so that people get it and they, I want to say yes to this thing. You don't have to force them to say yes. They're dying to say yes to get the fix to this stuff. You just don't know what it is that they want the fix to. So that's the basic reason that we've done all of this. And the most important thing that I want to convey is everyone out there is telling you that your margins are shrinking and all this stuff is happening, and the very first thing that you're thinking is, I'm going to advertise my way into success. No. Pricing's the fulcrum. Your pricing, it impacts how you show up in the relationship, and how you show up bloody well means everything. So how you show up is going to be, how are you going to connect to your clients? You're going to ask them the questions. How are you going to mobilize Zuloomi to actually measure the risks and all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes so that you can price stuff correctly? That's what it's about. I'm excited. Can you guys tell I'm excited? I'm excited, and I can't wait for you to start, because I know that you're going to have questions, and we want to share in your success and support you to do that. Thanks for joining us and being part of the journey.
Thank you.